The Telkom Foundation says there's been a decline in maths and science marks among high school pupils during this pandemic. The finding is based on a study conducted among schools that the foundation supports across the country. There has been concern from government and experts about the impact of interrupted learning on children's ability to grasp key concepts such as reading and mathematics. Let's talk more about this with Telkom Foundation's Nathi joining us live now. Mr. Kunene, very good afternoon. Welcome to Newsfeed PM. How sharp is the decline that you have observed in your work?
Good day, Tembegile, and to your viewers, and thank you for the opportunity. From our end, the interventions are based on supporting high school learners in their gateway subjects, which are maths and science and English. So we've been tracking these learners over time, and obviously making investments in improving their maths and science as we are supporting them towards economic participation, especially within the ICT sector, and looking into the future world of work. And we put our focus on these gateway subjects. And what we've seen is that when we started the interventions, we focused on providing extra tuition to learners in these particular subjects. But we've also learned that most of the learners were having content gaps which are built up from their days in primary school. And we had to actually have a two-pronged approach in having one a remedial approach in trying to make sure that we help these learners fix their gaps that they have in the content, and two, make sure that we provide that extra tuition to help them improve their results. And what we've seen is that during the COVID and its restrictions, we've seen that because of the lesser decreased learning time, contact time with the teachers, as well as with the program that we put in place, we've seen that some of the learners have been declining in terms of their performance in mathematics. What we look at is we look at their grade level performance. In other words, are the learners performing at the right grade in their maths and science? And in the schools we've been working with, the learners have been performing at up to 3 grades behind, and we've been helping them close this particular gap. And what we've seen over the COVID period is that because of the decreased contact time, even that catch-up program for the learners has actually greatly suffered as learners slightly move back in terms of their content knowledge in the various grades that they were in.
I'm curious about the demographic and geographic spread. Is it a wide pool?
From our end, our programs are national, as we support schools throughout the country. And we've seen in multiple provinces, which is where our comprehensive program is in, we've seen the same trend in those particular provinces. So we can safely say it could be a national issue.
And I was quite interested to see that you focused especially on outcomes at the grade 9 level, which is crucial, of course, because from grade 9, one then goes into that final quarter of schooling in the country, and it's make or break, essentially.
Yes, indeed, because if you look at these gateway subjects that we're focusing on, such as mathematics, it's not a subject that you just pick up at the tail end. It has building blocks to it, and it's like building a house, if we can use that example, where we lay the foundation and we continue building up the stories. So what we've been helping the learners do is to make sure that the foundations are great, that the structure will stand, and that has been our approach. So if you look at those grades, grade 9 and down, those are the grades where this scaffolding or this building is actually receiving its foundation. And that is where you see the greatest impact. And that is where, as they move from primary school going up, to high school as well. That's where you've been seeing the gaps as they increase, as the content gets more complex. You see that then the gaps start to show that our learners we're struggling with the basics in mathematics. So that is where we focus to fix.
And if you've missed it at grade 9, I'm wondering, with maths and science, have you missed it forever?
Yes, it's becoming very important and those foundational gaps are very, very important in how learners then tend to succeed going up with the grades, especially in those gateway subjects of mathematics and science. So those are very critical, yes.
How much room, though, do we leave, I wonder, in conversations about maths and science performance for the possibility that sometimes a child is just not inclined mathematically or scientifically and their interests are elsewhere?
There is room for that, to be honest, Tembegile, but where we come from and what we've been seeing and understanding is that a lot more learners are capable in mathematics than we believe. A whole lot more learners can do mathematics right up until grade 12 than we believe, just based on the fact that some of the learners, through the various challenges in their schooling environment, they've been having these particular gaps going forward, and it then feels that mathematics is that subject that they cannot do. But also, we don't leave out also how our community, our society, and then the schools are treating mathematics. It is that subject that everybody feels that, you've got to have a certain level of intellect to be able to master. But what we've learned is that if our learners get exposed and are closing the gaps quite earlier on, they gain the confidence to also just stay on in mathematics. They also gain the confidence to go back and practice, to go back and deal with mathematical problems. So what we're dealing with is not only an issue of just learners not being capable, but also of learners understanding from our society that they are not capable. And that's where we stand, and that's what we found out.
Based on my mathematics marks in high school, I needed more than the Telkom Foundation. Nathi, Kunene, thank you for speaking to us from the Telkom Foundation, talking to us about a very serious issue, the performance of children in this country in maths and science.
Thank you.